everyone doing this morning? I hope that your morning is off to a wonderful, fantastic start. If this is your first time here, hi, my name is Carrington. Not your first time here, hi, welcome back. If you enjoy any and all things makeup and you would love to join this dumpster fire family, then definitely go ahead, hit that subscribe button, click the little bell, and let's go ahead and let's dive on into today's video. All right, so it is fails time. We are here to talk about the fails of May. The things that I just was not loving this month. I don't have a lot to talk about. I do have a few to talk about, so we're definitely going to be diving on into those. So in today's fail video, we only have a few products to talk about, which to me, I always feel like is a win. I don't know. For me personally. So let's go ahead, let's dive on in. So first up, I have this Makeup Revolution Blurring Balm Pore Blurring Compact. So I had bought this because on the packaging, it says Super Dewy Blurring Balm. This is neither dewy, and I feel like it does, kind of somewhat blur your pores, but the issue that I'm having is it just turns way too matte for me personally. I have like the Hourglass, like the Vanish Primer, and that does have a little bit of a matte finish, but I feel like it doesn't look as terrible underneath makeup as this does. And, I use a hydrating primer beforehand. I've even tried like tinted moisturizers, tinted serums. It just was not working for me. It was not going well. So just for me, this is it's a no for my skin, especially my skin type. I am dry, leaning dry, leaning dry. There is no oil in this face. Like there's no oil. So, just with me being like just as dry as I am, this is a no. I'm probably going to get kicked off of this non-existent PR list that I've never even been on. But next up is the Pat McGrath x Bridgerton Loose Skintilating Diamond Body Shimmer Highlighting Body Powder. Okay. This is a very, very expensive product. Like we're talking like $60. This right here is $60. Okay, but this packaging, cardboard, cheap. All right, for $60, you get a highlighting like powder, and it, can you even tell that it's there? It's like right there. Can you see it? I don't even know if you guys can even see it. Okay, let's try a little bit more. Ugh, it just gets everywhere. All right, see, there it is. So here's the thing. I literally have to like build up this highlighter. For $60, I should not have to be building up this highlighter. For $60, I should get a much better component than this. This is just awful cheap. Gosh dang it. Hard to get on. It's just not good. I really feel like I wasted my money with this. And honestly, this is not worth your coin either. Like $60 for like this highlighter. And this is a very, very glittery highlighter. I'm not one that really minds glittery highlighters. I like it here and there on occasion. But for $60, no. Like there's nothing about this that I really honestly enjoy. So I have this eye primer from Moria. It's just, I don't know what it is about this. But I have tried using this. It's like a really nice white base, but my shadows just don't seem to last. It doesn't really add anything super special. I will say like it goes on, like a cream and then it dries down like a powder. I think like that's decent, but I just feel like maybe like because it dries down to a powder so quickly that there's just not enough tack for my eyeshadows to like grab a hold of, stick, and stay. And I have tried this with like other palettes as well, because I had originally used the Moria palette, and I was like, well, maybe it's just like the palette as well. But I tried it with like my Give Me Glow singles, and again, it just was not looking the best. It wasn't looking the best. It looked really heavy, really textured. Like I have some texture on my eyelids as well. They're creasy. I felt like it really, added to the crease, added to the texture, wasn't making my eyeshadows stay any longer. They were really starting to dissolve easily. It was a no for me. Okay, so I have a lip duo that I got from BH. It's the Miss Claus, lip duo. So you get a liquid lipstick and you get a gloss. So I hated these. I absolutely hated these. The liquid lipstick was just, it was so heavy, so drying. It was painful. Like, it was just absolutely like the most painful I have ever felt, that I had to take it off. Like, I couldn't even finish filming my video with it on because it was so painful, and I do my lips dead last. So my lips were dead last. By the time I finished everything, you know, did my setting spray, everything else, and came back on to do like my final thoughts, I had to take it off before then. Like, it was way too painful. This was not good. The gloss isn't that decent either. I didn't feel like it helped add any more hydration to my lips. It was a little bit gunky, a little bit, if you put too much on, it gets like stringy, gunky. I just wasn't a fan of this either. I just don't think this is a good quality product. Next up is this Lottie London Freckle Tint. Okay, I struggled with this. I tried this like a few days ago. I have since then tried to use this like every single day. It's just not good. It's way, this is supposed to be for like light type skin tone. It is way too warm. It's way too warm for me. I need something a little bit more cool. So that's one thing that's a little bit off. And then like this little like applicator, like it comes in like, it's like this little brush, and like you have to be like very careful, very precise, because at one point, like once the product starts to dissipate from the end, like it'll just like splotch, like giant huge splotches, and I'm just not here for that. This was not a good product, not for me personally. I've only tried like 2 or 3 brow products, or freckle products. I've tried this, I've tried the ColourPop one, and I tried one other. Again, maybe it's just like I just don't care for freckles. Maybe that's what maybe it's like for me personally, like on my skin, I'm just not a freckle person. I love freckles on other people. Like, I feel like that's why I keep buying like these freckle tints, is because I'm like, man, they look so good with those big freckles. Like, I want that. And then I try these products and I'm just like, all right. Alrighty then. It's not my favorite. Next up, we have a couple We have a couple mascaras to talk about. The first mascara is going to be the Milk Rise Mascara. This is terrible. This flakes off all over your face. It's kind of painful to put on. Like, as you're like layering it on, it's just like starts to get like really irritate my eyes. Starts to get like some irritation, and it just, I don't know. It just feels like, it's hard for me to explain. I can't explain it. It's just like I'm rubbing my eyes with plastic repeatedly, and it just makes my eyes watery, makes them really irritated. Even like throughout the day, like my face will just be covered in like these black specks from it flaking. But then it also flakes like as you're putting it on. Like, as you're like putting on even like one coat, like it'll start flaking all over your face, and I just don't like that. There's better mascaras, especially because Milk Makeup, it's a high end, it's a little bit more expensive, and I have better ones at the drugstore. I feel like almost every mascara that I've tried is better than this mascara. Next one is going to be the Giorgio Armani Eyes to Kill. I don't think this is a bad mascara, but I don't think this is one where I'm going to pay that price tag for a mascara where I'm just not like overly wowed. Honestly, my 2 favorite mascaras right now is to combine the Maybelline Sky High and the Maybelline Falsies. That is my combo, and I can get both of those for cheaper than I can for a tube of this. And I would still need something to like add, to like double up on the mascara. And so just for me, just with it being like $29, it's just not anything that's wowing. I can just skip over it. All right, so I have a couple brow products to talk about. First up is going to be this Moira Beauty Fine Brow Pencil and Taupe. I just am unable to really get like a solid, like, okay, here I am, like drawing like little like hair-like strokes, but you can barely even see that. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just not very pigmented. Nothing is happening. And I feel like, you know, taupe is sometimes kind of for more of like blonde hair type skin, like type hairs. But sometimes I feel like I can get them to work for like my brows, but like I can't with that. And I'm honestly sitting here thinking, like, even if you have like the blondest of brows or like white brows, I still don't think you're going to be able. Wow. I still do not think you're going to be able to get that to show up. It was so hard to get to show up in my brows. My brows look atrocious. It was just not a good brow pencil. The next is going to be this e.l.f. brow lift. I have heard so many people rave about this. Like, this has gone viral. I don't know if it's a me thing or like what the deal is, but I have tried using this multiple times and I just feel like it takes way too long to dry down. And then it's like everybody's like, oh, you have to wait for it to dry down. What am I supposed to put it through my brows and then like go off and do my hair, do my makeup and all that, and then hopefully it'll be dried down? Like, I feel like, after like 15 minutes, because I'll put this in, do my lower lash line, do my bronzer, do my blush, do my highlight, do some mascara. Like, after I'm done doing like all of those steps, I feel like it should be dried down by then. But like, it just doesn't dry down. Like right now, I've been talking for a few minutes now, and it's just still, I put a little bit on the back of my hand, and it still just has not dried down. I can't seem to figure out like how much to put in the brush. Like, I can like scrape it through like one time or just like barely dab it in, and it feels like it's way too much. I don't know if it's because like my brows are just very, very thin, very, very sparse, and there's just not a lot to work with. So maybe this isn't like the product for me with sparse hair. It might be better for somebody that has thicker hair, that has more hair that they can comb through and shape and really get to stand up. But for me with really sparse brows, I have been trying and trying and trying. And every time I try this, it is a bad brow day. It is never a good brow day. And I feel like it never sets down. I am just not a fan. So I have three like foundation concealer products to talk about. So the first up is going to be the Jaclyn Cosmetics concealer. This is just a really finicky kind of concealer and just not something that I am loving. So with this, I can only apply a little bit of amount to my eye, and then I have to start blending. I can't apply anywhere else, because if I'm applying that anywhere else, it is not, and I repeat, it is not going to last and stay. Like, this is definitely one of those where you work in small sections. But then the other issue that I'm having on top of, just that being the issue, just because I do like to sometimes let my concealer set so I can build up more coverage. With this, you can't. But also the other issue I'm having is this just looks so heavy. Even with like the most minute amount, it's still, after I set it with powder, and I do need to set it with powder because I do have just like very creasy under eyes, it just looks, no matter what the powder is, it just looks so heavy. And I don't know, like I can just put like a dot and a dot, blend it out, and then as soon as I put a powder, it's so heavy. I mean, I don't know how to get this concealer to work. I have been trying and trying and trying, and I just can't. Also from Jaclyn Cosmetics is going to be the, what is this called? Skin Perfecting Blurring Tint. As you can tell, I have tried to use this a considerable amount of times. I have used this just all over the face, for all day and every day. It just looks kind of scaly like. So I have tried using this as a primer. No primers underneath. Do my skincare 2 or 3 hours before I even try to do my makeup. So it has the most amount of time to get this to sink in. And use this, on top, put this being the primer. Nothing else. No pore filling primer, nothing. Literally just this. And going over it with a foundation, a tinted moisturizer, tinted serum. I don't know what it is, but on my skin, this just looks very like scaly. It just like really breaks apart super easily. I have been trying so hard to get this to work because there's so many people that do really love this and do rave about this, and I'm just not one of them. Another little like skin foundation is this One Size Turn Up the Base BBB Beauty Blur Balm. So I have used this extensively. I am now down to here with the product. So you really do just need like a very minimal amount. But the issue that I find with this is I think it looks really good on like my cheek area, but like anywhere in like my T-zone where I have like some added texture, some extra dryness, things like that, I feel like it really just clings to those dry patches, clings to the texture, and it just doesn't look good. I am just not a fan of this. I really wanted to love this because I have heard so many people just like hype this up. Like, this is great, this is fantastic. But again, I think this is a like a more like matte, semi-matte kind of finish. And for me with dry skin, I think it's just because I have dry skin. I don't think that this is a bad product for anybody else. It's just like if you're very, very dry, have dry patches, textured skin, Just be aware that this could cling to it. But if you're definitely like really oily, I think you might like this. It's just for me with dry skin, it just does not work for me. So the last two things are going to be setting sprays, and they are both very similar, I'm going to say. So we have the Jacqueline X Robin All Set Setting Spray and the One Size Preserve the Serve Luminous Setting Mist. Okay, so these are both kind of like those luminous type of setting sprays. I don't think I've ever put a setting spray into a fail category. Only because I never thought like a setting spray, especially if it was like luminous and hydrating, like I could see like matte being an issue for me, but like luminous, hydrating would be an issue. But I was watching, who was I watching? I think I was watching like Blvd, and I think she was like talking about how like with these, she was noticing that it would really break up her makeup or looked really bad where she had a lot of texture. And I was just like, well, that was kind of happening when I was using this, but I was blaming the powders. I was blaming the foundations. I was just blaming everything else. So I decided with these that I was going to use Holy Grail products. I was going to use my favorite primers, my favorite foundations, tinted moisturizers, my favorite concealers, my favorite powders, like my tried and true where I have never had issues with other setting sprays. And then I tried these. And I really do like it along the perimeters of my face. But anytime I start to kind of spray basically around this area right here, anytime I try to spray in this area, it looked very heavy, very cakey, very texturized. And I was like, I have never experienced that with a setting spray. And these are supposed to be luminous, dewy, hydrating. And I thought that this was very odd that it did. But yeah, these seem to be the culprit. I do like hydrating setting sprays, but I think it has something to do with like the luminosity of these where my skin is just like, Or maybe it's the formula and the ingredients in here where my skin is just like, But I found it interesting that I was not the only one that was having this, because Blvd was also talking about that she was kind of experiencing the same thing with these products. And so, you know, I had never ever thought that the setting sprays would be an issue. Like, never thought that. I will say neither of these have a good scent either. Like, I'm not a huge fan of the scents. This one smells like a Vicks, and this just kind of smells, I don't know, very just like strong. I can't, like, it doesn't have like a specific fragrance, like the added fragrance, but like whatever it is in here, it's like very strong. So I don't like that either. But I just never thought that like a setting spray that was geared towards like dry, luminous, dewy would mess with my skin the way it did. And this did. So that is it for the fails. Not a ton, but definitely some. I'm so glad like the amount of makeup that I've tried and that I've used, I only have like that amount of fails. So that's decent. Let me know if you guys have any fails from this month as well. If you enjoyed this video, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, click the little bell so you can join this dumpster fire. And I will see you all in my next one. Bye.